Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you're joining me from. My name is Zoliswa Cheche. If you are in the same time zone as myself, I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa, so I get to say good evening, good people. It's still afternoon, actually. I can see the light outside. You're welcome. I am a transformation life coach, an inspirational speaker, and a published author. And whenever I come to this platform, I'm just your sister having a conversation with you over a cup of tea, a glass of water, a box of chocolates, popcorn, whatever you would like to have with you. So welcome, welcome. If you were passing by, this is a divine appointment, and this is exactly where you are meant to be on such a beautiful, meaningful, mountain moving mindset Monday, where we get to talk about anything and everything that is mindset related. So yeah, the ground rules. If it is your first time, if it's not your first time, it's just a friendly reminder that here we interact. I would love to know what is in your mind. Remember, this is about mindset. So I would love you to comment. I would love you to do the right thing and say, hi, I'm listening to you, I'm watching you, so that if you happen to have any technical glitches, I know I'm not talking to myself. I may have 1,000 people viewing this video between now and a later stage, whenever it is convenient to them. But today's message is meant for you and you alone. So allow me to have a dialogue with you. Let this not be a monologue. Let this not be a one-sided conversation where I'm talking at you, but let us have a conversation, because this is a topic really that has been topical topic. It's a topic that has been addressed very recently in different ways without focusing on the angle that I would like us to have a look at. So just having a look at some of the comments that have already come through. Abigail, say hi, mountain moving people. Hi, Abigail, you are most welcome. And indeed, it is a mountain moving mindset Monday. So who am I? I said that I am a transformational coach, among other things, in a different space. I'm an inspirational speaker, and this is one of the platforms where I get to speak and inspire you and you alone, regardless of who else is next to you. And of course, I'm a published author. If you'd like to know more about my work, I have this book that was published towards the end of 2018. It's entitled I Serve. It's about how to really find out as to what the heck you are all about. Why are you breathing our oxygen? Why were you born? Because then that directs you towards living your life in a certain way. Having understood, having become aware of who you are, you then transition into a life that is aligned to who you are. And that is where the tools of your transitioning are contained in this book that is entitled Beauty in a Shitty Life, Looking Through a Clean Lens. So today we get to talk about life. How have you embraced life? I said earlier on that this is a topic that has really been at the forefront of many people's conversations recently because of a lot of losses of life that we have been experiencing, especially in the last year. And when you look back at life that has been lost, you tend to mourn that which you wish you could have done if the person was still alive, or if you were still alive, because all of these losses that we're experiencing and we're observing being experienced around us give us some state, or lead us to some state of fear. We experience fear of what's happening. We experience anxiety about what is going to happen next because we don't know what to expect. And now I would like us to just hang fire a bit. I would like us to take a break and look at this life and say, what are the activities, is activities the appropriate word to use, but what do we look at to determine or to search if there is still life in a human body? So one of the things that would be done when checking the vitals is the pulse, checking the pulse to hear if there is still any movement, any beating sound, any kind of emotion that is happening there, to establish if there is still life that is happening in that person's body. The second one, welcome everyone that has joined us and those passing by, is the heartbeat. as I'm touching the heartbeat right now, I could even tell if I were to look at the clock, the seconds, and how many times my heart beats in relation to the number of seconds as they progress. So the heartbeat is one other area that we look at to check the existence of life in a human body. And the third area that I would like to have a look at today, we're only going to look at these three vitals. There are many of them, but I would like that we look at these three, is the breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. So we would check to hear if there is still some intake of air, be it oxygen or whatever, and there is some exhaling of carbon dioxide. So it would be inhaling in oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. So in the space of my life, in the space of mindset, we call this mindfulness. So mindfulness is, these are some of the activities that we do or we embark upon when we enter into a state of mindfulness. Mindfulness is nothing other than being present in the here and now, where the most important thing is the here and the now. So there are always going to be thoughts that are going through your mind, but you're not giving them attention at that time. And as such, others would say you are narrowing the number of thoughts that are busy doing John Vulligate in your head or in your life by taking a break and shutting up and being aware of what is happening. It's more like you are unplugging for a moment. You know, when you are you're trying to troubleshoot something and you've tried a whole lot of other ways to get it to work and it's not working, like my Wi-Fi router was doing an hour ago, and I switch it off for a moment. That is what we're doing. So when we switch off, we just allow ourselves time to look at what is this thing called life and appreciate it. So when you keep quiet and you listen to your heartbeat, during that time, you are appreciating this beating of the heart that gives an indication that there is life inside of you. You may not even know where this life is coming from. You don't know how long this heart is going to beat. In other words, you don't know how long this life in this lifetime is going to continue. But when you keep quiet and you just listen to that heartbeat and close out attention onto anything else that is happening within and around you, we call that being in a state of mindfulness. Now, it is a beautiful state to be at, because you know how busy the hassles and the bustles of the life that we live is such that it is just too busy. It's too much for you to give attention to everything. And you miss out on the opportunity to be attentive to something that may trigger an aha moment for an idea for the next step that you have to take in any aspect of your life. So listening to that heartbeat is one way that you can get into a state of mindfulness. Sometimes just breathing in and out. I prefer breathing in during that state when I do it consciously. And remember, we don't control heartbeat. Heartbeat is happening involuntarily. Sometimes you are fast asleep, but you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, how did it happen that I continued with a heartbeat? My heart continued while I was asleep. I was somewhere else dreaming, or I don't even know where I was. The same happens with breathing. You don't tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to breathe now, but breathing still continues, because you can only hold it for so long before that life comes out of your body. So appreciation of the life that we have also entails us breathing and actively focusing on that breathing. So as I was saying, it's like you breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose, in and out through your mouth. It leads to some state of relaxation. We know when we are tired that relaxation helps us to replenish the energy that we need to carry on to move forward. And the other activity in the state of mindfulness that you can do is, of course, the pulse, checking the pulse. Just putting your finger on the pulse, for example, on your wrist here, and feeling the activity that says that there is something in there. It's more like, for if you have ever been with child, if you feel some movement that is inside your belly, then you know that there is life that is in there. So it's the same thing when you feel here on these veins and you connect to it. It gives you an appreciation of something that is inside of you that you may not necessarily be able to explain thoroughly in words using language, but it is something that is worth almost everything, because without that, you would never be able to do the things that you wish you could do. Without life, you are not going to be able to connect with us. You're not going to be able to really chase after your dream or bring the dream that you have about the life that you'd love to live closer to you. Love Tintin says, you look relaxed and fresh, my Zoe. Thank you so much. That is the state of mindfulness, Love Tintin. I had to do it first before I come here. And what Tintin is saying is a typical example of how you show up after having allowed yourself to go through a state of mindfulness. Now, I said you shut up and you look at the pulse, the breathing, those breathing exercises, as well as listening to your heartbeat. So you will notice that there are different senses that are involved during this whole shut up phase. For example, you touch and feel right here on your pulse. You listen to the sound of your heartbeat, and I don't know the sensation that is called when you breathe, but that is what you do. Now, when it comes to the activities that you do, now that you have looked at what life is all about and you have given it a sense of appreciation, there are certain things that do not happen when you don't have life, and you would like to perform certain activities in appreciation of life, in recognition that there is life in you, and in appreciation of this life that we have been complaining that so many people that are closest to us are losing. To the extent that you're able to watch this video today or any day when it is available to you to watch it, then it means that that life is it's still available to you. So how do you appreciate it when it comes to the activities now? The respirator, ventilator, life support machine in hospitals for somebody who is attached to those machines would have the dance moves. It's going to go up and down if you look at that machine, indicating that there is some breathing that's happening, there is some activity in that life. When that life is lost, when the person that is in coma is no longer conscious, is no longer alive, even if I don't want to talk about the conscious and the subconscious state because it may be confusing in terms of the medical terms. But let me just say, when life has left that body, there would be a straight line. Now, we are moving in the shaping up in the context of appreciation of life. We're shifting away from a straight line. And what is this analogy or metaphor of a straight line when we talk about the appreciation of life? When you wake up or not even leave your bed and you just have nothing to look forward to, all that you do is to say, what are the next bad news that are coming my way? Where are they going to come from? Who is next? Am I next in all this doom and gloom that we are experiencing? That is equivalent to the analogy of living in a straight line, because you don't even know how long this is going to continue for. But when there is life, as I said, there is the going up and down like a stock market. And that is exactly how you live your life, to show that you are appreciating that it is in existence inside your body. You become active. You do certain things that are going to show that you are active. And as you continue to do these things, you'll realize that they activate hope inside of you. Because when you are doing something and it is incomplete and you still have the desire to complete it, you look forward to the following day. You look forward to the next day so that you can take take over from where you would have left off in the direction of that which you wish to acquire, or the dream that you wish to realize, or the vision that you wish to bring to manifestation. So, as opposed to living a life that is in a straight line like that, you move up and down, you dance. I call it a dance, which is a dance between the day that you were born, and the dance is the day between you were born on the one hand and the day you transcend to another lifetime on the other hand. What's happening here? Because I want to see my comments. Okay, it's gone. So straight line to an activity, a movement, a dance up and down. Allow yourself to dance, whatever dancing means to you. It could be dancing along the lines of showing that I am doing something that I've never done before, or I am doing something that I have not done in a long time, but it is a dance of life nonetheless. You're not just keeping it exactly where you were last week, last month, a year ago, but you are shifting. You're allowing yourself to shift in a certain aspect or different aspects of your given life. Now, it is said that our body contains at least 75% of it is water. Others would say 80%, and that is why I say at least 75% of our bodies is water. Now, when this life has left the body, that body shrinks and it just disintegrates into nothingness. When you appreciate the continuation of the existence of life in your body, you appreciate that 75% of water by feeding it with more water. And that is why I usually say, have with you a glass of water, whatever it is, but I would always emphasize on water because that is what I usually have with me. It is in recognition of the appreciation of this at least 75% water content that is in my body, because I know that this body is a very important tool that enables me to do the things that I would like to do. Without taking good care of this body, then the dreams that I have or the vision that I have about my life would be as useless, futile as whatever that doesn't exist. Then the third one, so I said in activities, moving or shifting from the straight line of a dying body or a dead body to an activity that shows life in your body. The second one is appreciation of the water, because it is said that at least 75% of our body it contains water. Now, the third one of the things that we are unable to do when we don't have life is communication using language. There's communication in different forms in terms of energy, but in terms of the language, like I'm speaking in English to you now using the permeation of the words through my mouth, we are unable to do that when life has left our bodies. So when you are still alive, you then appreciate, embrace, acknowledge, and just hug this life by using communication in terms of language. And you're going to understand this because there are so many times when we would say, when life has left a certain body of somebody that is close to us, we would say, I wish I had said this to her or him. I wish I would have called them. I wish I would have returned their call. I wish I would have visited them at the time when I had a moment to do so, but I just thought that he or she would always be around. So, communication in terms of language is important, and it is something that you do as soon as it crosses your mind. You don't postpone it, because when you postpone it, you don't know if it is still going to be available to you at a later stage. And that is why you have to express it exactly at the moment when you become aware that you have not done it or you have a desire to do it. So, firstly, vital signs, vital points is the pulse. That's what you check under mindfulness. It's the heartbeat and it is the breathing. And we call those exercises of mindfulness. And then we shift from those things that cannot be done when the life has left the body to show appreciation of the body. And that is the movement from a life of a straight line to a life of business, a dance life. and appreciation of the water content in the body by drinking more water and loving it as well. And the language communication, saying those things that you wish you would say to people so that you don't regret when they are no longer around to say them, or when you yourself are in no position to say them because you will no longer have the connection of your energy to this body that enables you to speak in the form of a language. And then you might be saying to me, wherever you are seated at, that I have not been doing these because they had not crossed my perimeter. I had not been aware of them, and this is an aha moment. This is a moment where I say, maybe I should begin today. Why didn't I even think of these things before? So here are the 3 tools that I'm going to leave you with today when it comes to the things that you should do. 3 tools of today in appreciation of life are forgive, love, serve. Forgive, love, serve. What do I mean when I say forgive? Do I mean that if there is what is called an enemy that you have, you just forget about them and shower them with all the love? No, that's not what I mean. If you have been following my videos for quite some time, you will understand that my stature when it comes to what forgiveness is not just saying I forgive you to someone when there is still a wound inside, but in appreciation and in understanding of the fact that I will not allow myself to entertain that wound for a very long time, because the bitterness that goes with me holding on to that wound, to the wound, is dangerous and harmful to me more than it is to the other person. So when I feel that there is a need for me to forgive someone, I first forgive myself. I allow myself to heal. So I would look at all the mechanisms that are available to help me to heal and let go of this anger, resentment, pain that I am holding as soon as it is practically possible to do so. And immediately upon healing, when I'm healed, then I'm no longer carrying the bitterness. I'm no longer carrying the anger, the pain, the resentment towards anybody. Then automatically they get the radiation of the energy that I am carrying. And that is what I call forgiveness. That's why that sometimes if you ever had an encounter with me and I don't say sorry to you, or you say sorry and I don't respond, it's because I have a different value that I attach to forgiveness. And I don't elevate myself by demanding that somebody else ask me for forgiveness, because then it means that I am higher up there and I'm placing them in a space where they have to kneel down and are dependent on my forgiveness. That's not how it's supposed to work. So when we talk about forgiveness in this context, we are saying forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the fact that you did not become aware of this all along. All along, it didn't cross your mind. But then again, you needed to be in this platform right now to have this conversation with me right now so that it can become available to you. This is one of the tools through which I had to serve you by bringing it to your attention that you can actually forgive yourself by allowing yourself to heal. Many people at this stage are finding it difficult to forgive themselves on the basis of what is it that I could have done differently? Maybe that could have saved the lives of those people that have been lost. And there is absolutely nothing that you could have done. And because you cannot unring the bell and you cannot apply anything in retrospect, you then say, yes, I forgive myself, I allow myself to heal, and therefore anybody that I get into contact with will get that radiation, that fragrance of the healing that I have, which is what is called forgiveness. Love Tintin says, forgive to le, love serve Zolisa Church. Oh yes, that's the contract I signed. That's the contract I signed for, and that is what I live by. I serve, which is why this book is entitled I serve. That is exactly what I do. And Love TunedIn always advocates love. Under no circumstances should you forget to express love, because love is really at the center of everything, and it is right at the top of where it all happens. And actually usually advocates giving for, which is forgiving. I didn't even think of it that way, but that is what the Spirit made available to me this afternoon. Sandy Zweni says, powerful indeed. Thanks, Zoe. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for passing by, my friend. So, forgive, that is the first thing. Remember, you forgive yourself, and everybody else then gets the overflow of your forgiveness. You feed yourself by filling this cup or this glass to the brim, and then it overflows to the saucer, and everybody else that happens to get into contact with you is going to get the benefit of the overflow. Because if they get the seed, then you will be left with nothing, and that is not what we advocate. We're not saying give of yourself in such a way that you don't have anything else that you could use as a seed to cultivate more of that which you have to serve. So you fill your own cup first by forgiving yourself and healing through everything that you think of that you would like to work at, and then let the overflow reach everyone that you get into contact with. And then, having forgiven yourself that you did not think of this up until today, you love. Loving means that you practice love on yourself. If you are going to be an expert in anything, and if you are going to understand how other people are going to receive the love that you are giving to them, you're going to have to be on the receiving end of your own love. So you're going to be the sender and the recipient of your love first, which is also equivalent to filling that cup or that glass to the brim before it overflows, and everyone else is served from the overflow, from the saucer, from the side, or whatever it is that is the harvest that comes out of the seed of the love. There are different things that you can do to express love to yourself or to express love to other people. I actually have cards. I don't have the self-love cards in front of me here, but there are the 100 cards that came as a result of 100 days journey from Love TunedIn that I have. So each day in the morning, I will shuffle the cards and pull out one card, and I will live my day according to what is contained in that card. And that helps me to stay on the main lane when it comes to loving myself, because then if I love others too much in such a way that it takes something out of me, then I know that I have a replenishment of some kind that comes from having allowed myself my own self-love. So there is the love that you give to yourself, but then there is the fact that your life is not just about you. Your life is about everyone else that you come into contact with, everyone else whose path you cross. So as you give this love, you know that you're not going to be left with an empty hole inside of you, because there is a way of replenishing. And as you give this love, you are appreciating life, in the sense that if this recipient of love were to be gone tomorrow, you would know that you had done everything that you could when it comes to loving them. If you were to have lost your life tomorrow, you would have no regrets, because you would have done everything that you could have done with that which you have in your proverbial hand at the time. Love is very important. Earlier on, I said, if you say you have an enemy, I believe that we could live in a world where we have no enemies, just by changing the lens through which we look at life. Beauty in a shitty life, looking through a clean lens. And shitty life includes having what is called enemies and redirecting the shift in respect of how you view the people and the circumstances that are in your perimeter. So I said, forgive yourself first, and I said, love. And the third one is serve. Simbongile, thanks for joining. You said you would be at work. I'm so happy that you are here. Amazing. Thank you so much. You are amazing to have made time to be with us this evening. So you have forgiven yourself. You have expressed love to yourself and to those that are around you by way of them just getting the radiance, the radiation of the frequency at which you are vibrating. Then you serve. There is a purpose that you responded to, which allowed you an opportunity to be given what is called life. It happened at least 9 months before you showed your debut into this world. You signed a certain contract that you are going to serve in a certain way. There was a missing link. There was a gap that needed to be filled. There was a purpose that needed to be fulfilled. And you're the one that said, Tumamina, Ndokuyela, send me, I will go for you. Whoever the sender was. And I'm trying to introduce no religiosity here. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and it doesn't matter what you believe in, but you came here because there was a purpose. Even if you came unplanned, but you came here because the spirit that you are needed a body that is going to enable it to carry out a certain function or a certain purpose. Hence, I started by saying, let us look at the appreciation of that body by looking at the pulse, at the heartbeat, at the breathing, among other things. Let us look at how to shift from the straight line to the active line, to appreciate the water content of the body, the language. All of those things have to do with the body that we are living in, the body that enables life to continue. So, serving means that there is something that you are here to do. You're not here just to say you were born, then you died. No, somewhere in between is that dance. The one that says that I was here, even more than 300 years after you would have left, you would have paved a way for someone to go after you and take over the baton. It's more like a relay. Somebody is going to be taking over from you so that they can move forward. But what are you doing when you're not carrying out your part of the responsibility? Then it means that you are making things difficult for those that are still to come. And that is why it is important for you to understand what is my role and what are the responsibilities that are associated with this role. I am a big fan of management because I spent about 20 years in the corporate space in management, and I studied management as well. And when I look at the concept of management and the strategies that we employ when it comes to management, I realize that in fact is a metaphor for what we should be doing in our own lives. If I am going to be serving because there is a purpose, I need to understand the role and the responsibilities. Now, if you are a manager and you decide that you need 6 people in a certain department, you need those people as a form because that is, it is informed by the content of what is going to be done. So the structure is determined by the strategy. So we talk about the form and content as well as the structure and the strategy. These two talk to each other. You need to understand what your role is. And then you will understand what are the responsibilities that are associated to that role and carry them out. In that way, you live your life doing some kind of a performance management because you know what you are all about. And you will know when you have gone astray before anybody tells you, you will come back to the main lane because your main lane is uniquely yours. So, Love Tsintzin says self-love equates to Stephen Covey's 7th habit of highly effective people, which is sharpen the saw, sharpen the axe. That is what self-love indeed is. It means that if that axe is not sharpened or that saw is not sharpened, then it is not going to adequately perform the task that it is meant to do. It's going to be like a hammer instead of a saw. And we know when it is a hammer, it's no longer fit for purpose because it's not serving as it should. Remember, I said everyone has a role and responsibility associated with it, and you signed a contract to come here specifically for a gap that needed to be filled, for a purpose that needed to be fulfilled or carried out. So if you are using a wrong tool, which is a hammer instead of a saw, there's going to be a problem. We're not going to get the shape that we need. We're not going to shape up as we should. And if you haven't shaped up adequately, appropriately, as intended, that will be determined on the show up side. So you always hear me talking about the shut up, shape up, and show up in different things, because indeed it happens it appears to be relevant in so many different interventions that we want to employ as we create changes in certain aspects of our lives. So in this case, as you are sitting and appreciating your life and you're looking at your pulse and you're going into the state of mindfulness, heartbeat, observation of fire, candlelight, for example, listening to your heartbeat, actively breathing and appreciating the inhalation and the exhalation. All of those things happen when you just shut up. Shutting up allows you to observe. Shutting up increases the state of the appreciation in you, embracing life. It increases gratitude. When you shut up, you can't shut up and focus on your heartbeat and still complain and think about the complaints that you have. One gives way to the other at the time. So if you're still thinking about things to complain about, then it means that this active observation of your breath has gone astray for a moment and you need to bring it back. They really do not happen at the same time. And it is okay if you try and do this mindfulness exercise and you lose it along the way. When you find that you have lost the main line, you forgive yourself, and you just come back. You detour back if you had detoured away from the main lane. It is as simple as that. And having done that, you then shape up. Shaping up means you're now actively doing something. Because observation of the breathing and the pulse and the heartbeat is no activity at all, more than it is just to say, I appreciate you. So it is in line with the expression of gratitude. But when you're saying, now I'm doing something, I'm shifting from the straight line by imploring or doing some kind of an activity to create that dance in my life, that is shaping up. When you're saying that I'm appreciating the body content by drinking water, which activates something in me, that is doing something, so it is shaping up. And when you are communicating in appreciation of the capacity for you to use language to communicate with yourself as well as with those around you, that is doing something. And now, showing up on the other side, having shaped up now, showing up of the other side is giving of yourself to the external world. So when people benefit from you through the forgiveness that you have worked at by way of healing, and when people are experiencing and resonating with the love that you espouse and radiate, as a result of you having worked on yourself during Shape Up, when people receive service from you, as a result of you having identified your roles and responsibilities and having worked at them and performed that which is associated to them, that is how you are showing up on the other side. And that is how the shut up, shape up, and show up phase come together, even in the context of the appreciation of life. Lafton says, this is a timely message. Thank you very much, Coach, because today, confused by the many reports that have come to my awareness of people I know who are dying, I found myself asking if there was any value in going after my purpose. Now I realize that if I stop pursuing my purpose, I am as good as dead. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Lafton, for giving us a living example of the theory that I'm introducing today. The other question to ask is, why am I still alive? alive, because if I am still alive, then I am not at the same space as where those people are. And I want to believe that they would have wanted you to carry on, because they carried on up until that life left their body. Hence, it is called a lifeless body. They carried on until the final moment. They would have wanted you to carry on until the final moment, even if you were finding yourself in a space where you are experiencing some kind of a compromise in an aspect of your life. But even before you start thinking about what other people would have wanted, what would you have wanted? If you were to go on the other side and you realize that you don't have a chance of coming back, what are the things that you would wish you could have gone after, you could have worked at, you could have achieved, realized, fulfilled, and the rest? We are alive. We have been bombarded by the loss of life of many people around us recently. Let us appreciate that which is left within and around us. Life is a beautiful thing. And you and I, to the extent that we're able to watch this video, still have it. There's so much that I could talk about life, but all that has been placed in my heart today is to say, remember, forgive yourself so that others can get forgiveness from you as well. Love yourself and allow that love to radiate to all the people that you get into contact with. And serve, because it is a purpose that you signed a contract for long before you made your debut into this world. You are very important. You play a special role that is uniquely yours, that nobody else would ever be able to play in this thing that we call life, and in this time that we call lifetime. This is only the beginning. The rest is yet to come. And I just want to remind you, remember that yours is to forgive, to love, and to serve, because I serve. Have a good evening.